WKRP in Cincinnati will not be seen tonight so that we may bring you this special presentation. Okay, I think, minor update on the indie front. Apparently she finally figured out that I've been following her on Fansly because now I'm blocked. I think what might have happened is because she'd put in to have the restraining order or protection order made permanent. And she said, it's violated like 4 times and like 90-some videos and something. And I responded to it, to the court, and said, okay, a few things about her thing. One, the order expired on the 23rd, not the 29th, like she claimed. I am restraining my comment to Constitution protected free speech. She's a public figure. So am I. She's doing this publicly. I'm perfectly free to comment on it publicly. And as far as the, how many times he's gone, I violated the words. I cited that I've received like 25 DMs from her in Fansly, many of them including overtly sexual content. There were nudes in there. So no, and I'm guessing that because I was still able to, follow part of the live stream tonight, which is still going. And then halfway through, it's like suddenly I'm blocked. I think she finally got the email. There's a what? And finally went looking for me. And it's not like I'm hard to find. That's the stupidest thing. I was on there as Captain Robert Aikman. Everything's right, blatant right there. I wasn't trying to be cute with a different little email that was written. No, I was just going to see what happened. Sure enough, for about the past year, I've been able to follow her on Fansly. I didn't pay for anything because that would have stuck out, but no, just casually following and getting DMs and be able to watch live streams and stuff. But I'm thinking it's like the only reason she would have, I would be curious to be able to, pick out the, see the live stream. And at what point it becomes, because it was in a few hours, and then suddenly, boop. I'd like to see what was going on in the live stream at the time. So, holy shit, he's, and then dig it out and nuke my ass. But that's one of those things. It's like, you're so concerned about me. How the hell am I able to just waltz on in and say hi? And I'm receiving stuff all the time. Does she even know I'm here? It's like, come on. And so basically in response, though, I have filed, sent in a comment to the DA at King County about what to do further on in this whole mess. I won't go into details on it. I want to be a surprise, but for her own health and safety and other things, I figured it's time to just nuke this. And yeah, she's going to hate me for a while. I think in the end, though, it's like, in a very real sense, I am trying to save her life. As soon as she realizes it, the better. Let's take a look at the shop. Get the game up first. The only reason it took long to get on is because I was, taking care of my usual cavalcade of YouTube videos I piled up, wanted to watch, and I had to knock out a bunch of them. You will note the Union Jack behind me on the thing. So there's my loyalties right there as far as, And there's a growing feeling that, the Islamists may have finally overplayed their hand in Britain. Because it's like part of it's like England is an island, okay? There's nowhere else for the English to go. You can't just just go, relocate them or push them off. No, it's last stand time, and it's like something I've been saying for a while. Some of these people really need to take a tour of the Tower of London and take very careful notes, because this is what the English are capable of if you push them. I mean, the same company, the same country that produced Lovable Mop Top the Beatles stuff was also the same people, same island who produced Jack the Ripper, and Sir Francis Walsingham and his little game of torturing people who dare threaten the crown. I mean, kind of what after 9/11 it was comment about Americans. Same thing we said. The British, they can go from the friendliest people in the world to the face of doom if you push far enough. Okay. Oh, Eminem's finally leaving. And then we in a real right now, it just hasn't really kicked off completely yet. But if it does, it's like. And I got a friend over there. He's sleeping with a sword next to his bed. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're kind of taking out taking out a flag supposed to put up more. I said, I'm hanging my pyre. Make these barbarians fight for their treason. Yeah, make them work for it. Get rid of these little things. That's annoying. Okay. I'm going to stick with Wolverine on here. And nothing in particular. Listen. I need to stop playing this game on my phone here. Okay. Now, I just did a breakdown of thumbnail sketch of Indy's history, list of diagnoses, her drug use, why I think she suddenly declared herself trans, because her hormone levels finally crashed, and it's like, and went in through in the fact that she's just got engaged, and like the last thing to do is be starting off a marriage with all this unresolved crap. And also the fact that she is no stranger to the court system and herself. She's a defendant in a couple of cases, one of them just back in November. So she's, it's going off the rails, and something this needs to be dealt with in a professional manner. And again, I won't go into what I recommended, but it's like somebody needs to step in and say, "That's it, you're done. It's time out time for a while. We're gonna solve this, whether you like it or not." Like, you're 30 years old now. You're supposed to know better. It'll also be a nice test of how well how sturdy is this relationship with her, with her fiance. If he's going to stick it out and everything because of all this, or he's going to be like, "That's it, you're nuts. I'm out. I can't compete with your crazy life, you crazy bitch." Before getting into it here, let's put that up. Somebody said to chop in. Okay. Yes, glider. What? That's nice. I'm streaming. Okay. I'm streaming right now. Okay. Why don't I get the thing going? Doing the Fortnite stream. What do you think I'm doing? Well, for right now, just figure a few meals. Just get a few meals for now. Don't put in a fun. Just you can stack up an order so we'll analyze it later. Okay. On the other side. I'm going to wait until I even get a note. There we go. Because my luck usually, if I down a big one right away, the next one I find is a small one, which is useless. All right. Don't think I'm going to worry too much about taking people on. What? That's fine. Ooh, even better. All right. Yeah. Come on, stop locking up them. Actually, go and there. Too bad you can't fix this thing up and fly it out. That'd be fun. Couldn't even do that during while the star was still going though. Oh shit. Trying to get cute there, buddy boy? Okay. I'm not so sure Mantine is working. So I think let's be safe about this and just get the hell out of Dodge. Yeah. Mantling is glitched out, so I'm going to have to be careful at this point. No. Not going to give me like that, Bobo. Huh. That's different. And I'm already pull up on med kits. Okay. That'll work. Was someone not here to get their thing? It also shows no, you don't have to be that level to open that thing. I think I'm full up on small rounds. Okay. We're not going far, that's for sure. Let's go down here. Just took out the whole joint. What? What? Oh, God damn it. All right. Okay. Well, a couple of my fried chicken things. Get a couple of the mega meal things. I don't need all the brownies and all that stuff. Just the chicken and the potatoes. Oh, damn it. Shall I send you a link so you can talk to me directly? Hold on. All right. Yeah. Since they still haven't figured out how to do the Since they haven't figured out how to get the grilled chicken yet, yeah. All right. No, let's do that. Any chances they're a chopper? God damn it. Yes, there is a chopper. They're supposed to be able to. Well, I'll hover if you're in the pilot's seat, but. Oh, we're hovering. Now we're going down. Looks like it actually did hover for a while there. What? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Whatever. All right. We still got some egg rolls, but yeah. We still have some egg rolls, but okay. Yeah, a few. A few. All right. Wasn't saying don't. Just not right now. I can wait until I get paid and at the store if need be. I can wait until I get paid. I got me a 12 pack, so I'm still got the bulk of that. Cokes, regular. You know. Fucker. Will you get over here, you dumb banana? Talk to you. There. Fine. Fine. Hmm. Oh, there goes Peely. Shit. There we go. I just won. Hold on. And on that note, I'm going to put up a video for a bit while we discuss our grocery order. I'm done on live stream. You wait just a damn minute. Not gonna just hold on a goddamn minute here. Throw up a video. Hey, Daniel. Okay, let's find something here. Don't you screech at me, young lady. Let's do this well. There's an up.
A fan film is exactly what the name implies, a film made by fans of a particular subject. And in the case of Star Trek, these amateur productions have been around almost as long as Star Trek itself. The earliest publicly available example dates back to 1967, while Star Trek was still running on NBC. Titled simply Star Trek, it's about what you'd expect of the genre at the time, kids utilizing the family Super 8 camera, makeshift uniforms with hand-drawn insignias, use of the model they got for Christmas, etc. The first noteworthy attempt to kick things up a notch came in 1974 with now partially lost John Constantino's Paragon's Paragon, essentially an adaptation of James Blish's Star Trek novel Spock Must Die. The film ran for an hour, shot on 16mm film, features a full-size recreation of the bridge set, more or less, and presented an ambitious variety of special effects on a budget of around $2,000, roughly $10,000 in today's dollars. Something to keep in mind is that through much of the history of fan films, Paramount gladly turned a blind eye to such activities. Not only fan films, but bootleg ship models, costumes, and fanzines, so long as they didn't make any actual appreciable amount of money off of their intellectual property. I.e., not enough that it was worth it for Paramount to unleash their lawyers and shut it all down. The next major attempt at a semi-pro level fan film came in 1985 with Yorktown, A Time to Heal, with the key selling points being the inclusion of George Takei as Sulu and James Shigeta as Admiral Nogura, the admiral who gave Kirk back command of the Enterprise in Star Trek the Motion Picture. This project even got a write-up in Starlog magazine at the time. Unfortunately, production was abandoned before completion and lay dormant for nearly 20 years when work resumed in 2010. In April 2022, the longest gap in production history ended, and Yorktown A Time to Heal finally hit YouTube to mostly positive response. December of 2002 saw the debut of Starship Exeter, featuring the adventures of a decontaminated and recrewed USS Exeter, last seen in the infamous original series episode The Omega Glory, with her crew reduced to white crystals. Under the command of Captain John Quincy Garrivick, cousin to Ensign Garrivick on the Enterprise and nephew of the late Captain Garrivick of the Farragut, both referenced in the original series episode Obsession, we meet a fairly diverse and interesting group of characters, and the first fan film production to present us with accurate recreations of the original sets. Uniforms and hand props are one thing, but building full-size sets is a whole nother level of commitment. Even most productions nowadays tend to go for the cheaper option of green screens and CGI recreations. The debut episode, The Savage Empire, showed great promise, claymation monster notwithstanding, and a fan following started to take shape. Unfortunately, the second episode, The Tresarian Intersection, ran into the common enemy of most fan films, specifically real life. Being released one act at a time, with acts 1 through 3 coming out fairly quickly, the delay in the release of Act 4, due to the demanding visuals and folks having to eat and pay their own bills, stretched out a few years. In all, from the start of principal photography to the release of the final act, it took nearly 10 years for the completed episode to finally see the light of day. Needless to say, the third episode, The Atlantis Invaders, never happened. By the way, that bridge set, after a stop in Oklahoma for much-needed refurbishment and restoration, now lives in Arkansas with a group of Starship Ajax, another aspiring fan film group. This series took the approach many fan films take, depicting other ships and officers in the Star Trek universe, away from the Enterprise, allowing the writers and actors to follow their own paths and not run afoul of the established canon. After all, it'd take some serious balls to actually take on the roles of Kirk, Spock, and the rest, right? Well, in 2004, James Cawley decided to grab onto that third rail of fan films and produce Star Trek New Voyages, with Cawley himself taking on the role of Captain Kirk. A former underling of Star Trek costume designer William Ware Tice, Cawley has made most of his money primarily as one of the world's most acclaimed Elvis impersonators, hence the jet black king of rock and roll pompadour. I like to think of this as an alternate timeline where Hawaii Five-0 didn't take off, Jack Lord had a slight change of heart regarding Star Trek, Shatner left after the third season, and Kirk is recast Darren Stevens style, with Jack Lord donning the command tunic for considerably less than the 50% ownership he asked for the first time he was asked back in 1964. As is the standard with any such production where cast and crew largely consist of highly enthusiastic amateurs, the first offerings are a little rough, with slightly dodgy camera work, rough audio mixes, and frankly flat amateurish lighting. Thankfully, these issues were quickly resolved with subsequent episodes, although the second episode, In Harm's Way, became a touchstone for how not to depict the Enterprise. Whenever you hear complaints about the Enterprise being zipped around like a colonial viper, this is where that happened. In 2008, the production changed its name to Star Trek Phase 2, a clear nod to the planned Star Trek revival TV series that was shelved in favor of Star Trek the Motion Picture, itself an adaptation of what would have been the pilot episode for Phase 2. This wasn't just a clever rebranding, however. The intent was to produce some of those unproduced Phase 2 scripts. This only got as far as The Child, a script that had already been adapted for the Next Generation's second season to get around to writer's strike at the time, and K'Tumba, a John Meredith Lucas story about the Klingons that required some serious reworking to bring it in line with Klingon society as we knew it by the time of Enterprise, and featuring future Captain Kirk Vic Mignogna as a villainous Klingon. It was while developing a Norman Spinrad script, He Walked Among Us, a script initially pitched for the original series as a vehicle from Milton Berle, believe it or not, that the friendly folks at CBS chimed in to remind Colley that they still own those scripts and would really prefer that nobody else produce them. This was around the time of the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, and CBS, or at least Bad Robot, developed a serious case of territoriality, putting the kibosh on that idea. Remember, this was the same period when Bad Robot tried to tell CBS to stop merchandising anything connected to the original series, prompting CBS to instruct J.J. Abrams to do something anatomically impossible to himself. This also marked an end to Colley's turn as Captain Kirk, citing both scheduling issues and weariness of the blowback from Star Trek fans who weren't very charitable to his portrayal of Captain Kirk, prompting him to pull back a bit to focus on producing the show, and bringing in actor Brian Gross to take over the role of Kirk for the last of the production's 10 episodes. Colley's last official on-screen appearance in the series was as a demented mental patient who thought he was Elvis, in the adaptation of Shirley Miyuski's much-beloved fanfic Mind Sifter. Although there is his turn as Kirk in the unfinished episode Origins, an adaptation of David Gerrold's original series pitch The Protracted Man, which also gave us a look at things to come with return appearance of Vic Mignogna, this time as Jim Kirk's father, Commander George Kirk. Although Starship Exeter initially kicked off the current state of fan films with faithful recreations of sets and higher quality visual effects, most folks looked at New Voyages as when Star Trek fan films kicked into high gear, partially because Colley did grab that third rail of taking on the role of Kirk, garnering a lot of attention both pro and con, and the fact that this production had the active participation of actual Star Trek veterans both in front of and behind the camera, most notably George Takei, Grace Lee Whitney, and Walter Koenig, reprising their old roles of Sulu, Rand, and Chekhov, even giving William Wyndham a chance to give Commodore Decker a happy ending, but scripts from D.C. Fontana, Mark Zicree, and David Gerrold, who finally got to produce a version of his rejected next-gen AIDS allegory script, Blood and Fire. Gerrold would later take over showrunner duties on Phase 2 until they shut down in 2016. More on that later. It was during this period that more fan groups were inspired by New Voyages, and Exeter, to build their own sets or arrange to borrow sets from other groups, and the Star Trek fan films entered something of a golden age. Which brings us to the high watermark of this cultural and creative process, Star Trek Continues. Produced by Vic Mignogna, who, besides showing up in the occasional fan film, is a noted actor in his own right, and is most well known for his work in anime voice acting, along with a cast of primarily experienced professional actors, many of them also associated with anime voice work, and production crew, as opposed to the usual group of enthusiastic amateurs, and their own batch of faithful recreations of the original sets, starting with the bridge and other set pieces acquired from Starship Farragut, another fan film production headquartered in southern Georgia, that, through bad luck, lost the loan of their warehouse that served as their soundstage. From there, more sets were recreated, eventually including a stunning recreation of main engineering. The only other production to have an engineering set was Phase 2, and they never really got to use theirs on camera. Star Trek Continues set itself apart with the stated goal of completing the 5-year mission and setting up the characters for where we find them in Star Trek the Motion Picture. And over the course of 11 full-length episodes, they accomplished that goal. What sets Star Trek Continues apart from other productions are a few key factors. Every episode was made with a concerted effort to match up as closely as possible to the look and feel of the original series, from the signature colored lighting, the camera angles, and in the age of high-def widescreen, shooting in the original 4:3 screen ratio, with added film grain added to match the look of the original 35mm film stock. The scripts were all consistent with those of the original series. That is not just an excuse to run around in costume and fight the Klingons. In fact, the Klingons don't appear once during the entire run of Star Trek Continues, although the Romulans show up at the end. Rather, the emphasis was on the traditional subtle approach to current social issues, building upon established canon, and of course, giving Vic Mignogna that chance to chew the scenery with true Shatnerian gusto. The vast majority of the cast of any episode are professional actors, with several guest stars well known to genre fans throughout the run, including Aaron Gray, John Delancey, Colin Baker, and others. Then, on June 11, 2014, the fan film community was turned upside down. Fan Alec Peters, previously known for his dealing in rare Star Trek collectibles through his company Propworks, released a 20-minute documentary-style short, Prelude to Axanar. Directed by Robert Meyer Burnett with visual effects by Tobias Richter, the intention was to set up the eventual production of a feature-length professional Star Trek story, Star Trek Axanar, which would tell the story of Garth of Izar, last seen in the original series episode Whom Gods Destroy, and his role in the 4 Years' War, an event prior to the original series, and largely rooted more in fan speculation than hard canon, wherein the Klingon Empire and the Federation go to war, and we learn how and why Garth became the legendary starship captain that became the boyhood hero to James Kirk. Many in the cast, with the notable exception of Peters, was a well-known Star Trek or genre veteran. Peters, of course, cast himself as Garth. The visual effects were nothing short of spectacular, and the list of premiums for different levels of contributions was staggering. Donations reached over $2 million, and plans were announced to use the production of Axanar as the basis for an independent, for-profit studio where fans would be able to come and produce their own projects in a professional-level facility. In the eyes of CBS, the current owners of Star Trek, that line where fan creators were not allowed to make any money from their projects was about to be crossed, and the lawyers were dispatched from on high, and the entire fan film community was about to pay the price for Axanar's ambitions. So it was, on December 29, 2015, CBS and Paramount Pictures filed a copyright lawsuit seeking damages in the U.S. District Court for the Central District of California, stating Axanar's works infringed their rights by making use of the Klingon language and innumerable copyrighted elements of Star Trek, including its settings, characters, species, and themes. The sword of Damocles that had hung over fan projects for decades had fallen, and Alec Peters, who likes to describe himself as a lawyer even though he's never practiced law anywhere, seems to revel in the tension and the conflict, while the entire fan film community very nearly ceased to exist in the carnage. In the middle of all this, mainly as a response to one of Peters' defenses that there weren't any guidelines to follow, so he couldn't be found guilty of violating rules that hadn't been laid down in the first place, on June 23, 2016, Paramount and CBS released guidelines for fan films to head off any future mishaps and misunderstandings. The days of the property owners turning a blind eye to fan activities had come to an end. Groups that had projects already in active production were allowed to finish up as planned, allowing, for example, Star Trek Continues to complete their final batch of episodes. Phase 2, on the other hand, decided to just shut down production entirely, turning their soundstage into an officially licensed tourist attraction, giving fans around the world a reason to travel to upstate New York. Star Trek Horizon had just released a feature-length film set during the period of Star Trek Enterprise, ironically on the Starship Discovery, and were planning a sequel when they received a relatively cordial advisory from CBS not to do that, so they just abandoned the project. Everyone else pretty much sat back and started rethinking their projects. The outcome came on January 20, 2017, when all parties agreed to a settlement wherein Alec Peters and Axanar Productions promised to make substantial changes to Axanar and agreeing to abide by the newly minted guidelines for fan films, meaning that instead of the planned 90-minute feature, Axanar could be no longer than 30 minutes in two 15-minute segments with no ads allowed. So on March 31st, 2024, after $2 million in contributions, over 9 years of delays, numerous lawsuits filed by Peters against former production associates and critics, copyright claims to material he doesn't really own in the first place, and while still owing CBS over $300,000 plus interest over the lawsuit settlement, their much-heralded short film, The Icarus Maneuver, was released, utilizing an extensive visual sequence directed and designed by Rob Burnett and Tobias Richter way back in 2015, a sequence Peter claimed he never got and had been stolen by Burnett, and the video was promptly taken down on orders from CBS for violation of the settlement agreement. What we'll get next from the Axonar side of the fan film quadrant is difficult to say, but it appears CBS is about to have the final say. Elsewhere in the fan film community, things are going on swimmingly as creators adapt to the guidelines and learn where they can stretch them a bit and where they need to back off. Neutral Zone Studios, home of the Star Trek Continues sets in Kingland, Georgia, provides a production home for several fan film producers, as well as hosting periodic open houses for interested fans from all over the world. Samuel Calkins, through his Power 543 Fan Films production outfit, has produced dozens of fan films for a fraction of the budget as Axonar's handful of shorts, with visual effects easily on the same level as anything produced in the professional Star Trek productions. With nearly everyone having a high-definition camera on their phone and video editing and CGI software available for many of the obstacles in producing high-quality fan film productions have been removed, bringing everyone down to one basic starting point. Do you have a story worth telling? And do you know how to tell it? Everything else is just details. So, what's your story?
Once again, my wife has the worst timing on the planet. This thing's about to wrap up. She wants to has to, to go deal with something. All right. No, I got Rob Shlomo to do me a new narration for that and update things because the sets for Star Trek Continue is no longer in Kingsland, Georgia. They're now at Sandusky, Ohio. It's the Sandusky Mall. They're in there. And I think by now they're up and running and ready to start new productions. So let's see. Let's go ahead and pull that. Get this back up. Okay. So we got leveled up twice there, I guess. And as such, we got 2 of the dailies done. So now I'm just going to do a lot of running or collect weapons and, anyway. Just get into it. And how? Oh, 3 people watching. I didn't think it would be a big audience this late night anyway, starting off. But you never know. Let's see if it's a minor miracle and get a twofer. No, but I figured that I've been on the defense with Indy from this thing started. I think it's like, okay, let's have her answer some questions for a while. What I'm curious about is how the hell she wound up in court as a defendant in November. I think I remember something about making a thing. I noticed mistakes were made, and it's like, okay. I thought you were talking about just someone fucked up in the bedroom, and that may be it. Something. But I gave the DA the case number and everything, so that you make your own judgment there. I mean, I don't know the details of the case. All I can say is, well, she is no stranger to the court herself as a defendant. She's been hauled in twice. Once was many years ago, but the other one was just back in November. After Jared, been trying to sue me for this thing. So I thought, okay. All right, the mantling is working. Might as well make it a better version. All right. That. What the hell? Is there a car here that no. You're walking. Actually, let's swap out this for the pistol. Yeah. There is a car over there, though. Hmm. All right. All right. And I know there's drums all over the damn place, so let's go back to plan here. The reason why I jumped out of the car and let it roll down there is it would be waiting for me closer to the other end of this as I go deal with this. And a Ferb shotgun. Unless I can get a rifle out of this one. Like that. That. Let's go back here and check the other one. I do like it when they kind of No one's around. You got the place to yourself. You can pillage as you need. And there's the car right there, not that far. Damn it. Just make sure. Okay. Now, back to my car here. Not well good though, did you? And how long were you waiting by that box, waiting for someone to come along? Huh? All right, let's see. Get in the car here first. And, okay. So, dailies are done. Weeklies, I don't know if I did anyway. Well, only 2 more. I got that out of the way. Okay. I'm not sure much longer to go for tonight. That's going to be before that opens. Gotcha. All right, something of it. Pressure gun with a subby. Okay. Okay, well, I guess I didn't level up again. Yeah, more than halfway there. That's what I got here. One more elimination, I got that. Never got the sliding thing. That's not yet. I can get one of them big old miniguns. Let's see if I can get in there. No, there's one. There's this one D transition to Claire Abernathy, along with Prisha and others are going on to his spine. Said a tweet recently. One of the things that is really aggravating is finding out after detransitioning all the people in her life who had their doubts but didn't feel they could say anything. That has been the most aggravating thing. So it's one of those cases, if somebody had spoken up, she might not have done it in the first damn place. I did a reply on that, my fight with Indy in a nutshell. But then I followed up with a quote tweet. Like, you want to know why I won't shut up about Indy? This is why. As I said before, it's like, no, not that. Where's that safe thing? Okay, upper resistance base is one. Somebody's not letting me bookmark these things. That's we can gear up a bit before charging in. I think a lot of people have forgotten about these. Oh, hello. Oh, come on. Almost had it. Here we go. Haven't got a whole lot of time here, so I'm gonna... And the thing's fucking up on me. Oh my God, there are barrels all over the damn place. And they're probably going to drop a big chug on me anyway. Yeah, there we are. All right. Something resembling a safe around here? Come on. I'm not going to bother them. And I got to go. Shit. Gotta get outside. Okay. So this idea wasn't a great one. There we go. Okay, let's try this one again. Of course. No, I don't got time for that. Bitch, that's it. You just got annoying. There we go. Okay, first. Now I was going to find someplace with a campfire. Not like I need a whole lot of points. Just a little bit of it picking me up. Okay, now let's plot it here. Okay, directly ahead. Okay. So down in that mess. Hmm. Okay. That's safe. Sail. Don't want to get playing this game without my glasses. I think the best we get out of here. vehicle up here? No. Yeah, as much fun as it might be, you can't damage any buildings. You're an asshole. Okay. Okay, let's see where we're at here. First, we're on quest. There's that scrap. Hunter's Shadow Briefing, huh? Let's see what that means. Do that. Purchase an item from. Maybe another time on that because I'm getting kind of tired. So let's just take care of this item here. Yeah. Still not quite there yet. Let's look at the bonus rewards. I'm getting up there. We got all these guys. What is it? Her, I will do a preset for it. You listen. And then the super styles, which I don't give a rip about. Including a black and gold Dino Megazord. Whatever. And of course, these guys are still on sea for another, another couple of weeks. So. All right, so with that, go and call it at this point. All right. So, this is going to be a busy week on this end because we got Squabble's going to turn in our rent, what it's been set at, which is too damn high. In fact, it got jacked up even higher for no reason whatsoever, really. I can tell. And hopefully also we've gotten it straightened up enough that we get a bit of a reprieve because we got an organization ready to help, and but thing is, the other people they're helping too. So it's a matter of give us some time and we'll finish up the job. They did send a lady over on Friday and got a lot of stuff done. There's not much really to do as far as the actual job goes. Problem is, I can't do it. I'm just not physically capable of doing it anymore. I'm getting overwhelmed. So, but one or two guys in here, a few hours, done. Probably the whole damn place, even this wreck of a room. Main thing is the kitchen and the living room, and did enormous progress there. So it's a matter of like not enough time because again, when I was selling the pass on the front office, there's stuff that's out of my control here. I can't do all that, and I can't say when these people are going to show up. They'll show up when they're available, but I can't make them show up. So hopefully we got a little reprieve on there, and they've got before and after pictures, what it was like before and what they've done so far. So we can make some serious progress. So just give us a little bit of extra time here. So that take care of it. And then but also hopefully bringing in some big guns on the rent issue because that's getting stupid. Because the whole thing is like, all right, base it on the gross. I don't get paid the gross, so you're already going to be off. We can't even be expected to live like monks for a few months here. We got a problem here. Anyway, enough of my problems. We will talk at you.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Well, the plan is ignored. Action is what's ahead. Like it's a great big bang up. Whenever there's a hang up, you'll find